Welcome, everyone. Thanks very much for having me, and it's great to see some good friends in the room and partners. So I'm from Haliburton, Ontario. I was really glad there wasn't a snowstorm so that I could get here. I'm here to speak about the Youth Wellness Hub Ontario journey, and in particular, Haliburton County. And that is, I wish I really knew how to do photo editing so I would look better in these pictures, so they're a little embarrassing, so just ignore her and look at the other people. We've got a great group of youth and service providers and parents that have stepped right up in Haliburton County to try and make a difference for youth in our community. And those are some of the steering committee members there. Haliburton County COYO Youth Hub, what is it? Well, here's a little, that's what I'm going to talk about. What is it? The background of our community, where we're coming from, how we've been working on moving the Youth Hub forward, and where to take it from here. I could almost chew gum and walk at the same time, having to hold a mic and forward the slides. Don't tell them back at the office. COYO. Now, it's a really interesting initiative that is kind of spearheaded by CAMH. And CAMH has not only been receiving the provincial dollars for making it happen, but they've also been really busy with their foundation, and to date have raised over $3 million provincially to help with the youth hubs, or the COYO hubs. The idea is that a new approach is needed. We've seen things like Headspace and Jigsaw happen in Australia and Ireland, and things like Foundry happen in BC, Access Open Minds, basically all around the same kind of model, a model that just really makes sense. It's providing a one-stop shop for youth, and not youth 12 to 18, but from 12 right on up to 25. So really helping over the transition, and we don't have to go from children's services to adult service, but everything can be under the same roof. One that provides an integration of core services. What is it that youth need? Youth need mental health supports. They also need sexual health supports, substance abuse, employment, housing, food access, clothing access. And in Haliburton, they also need a place that they can call their own. Because in our community, we don't have a Boys and Girls Club. We don't have any public recreation programs that aren't funded for youth. We used to have a pool hall, it's closed. We used to have a movie theater, and it's closed. So finally we're starting to have a resurgence of youth feeling like they have a place to come. There's a skateboard park that's recently been built, and the youth said that they wanted the youth hub in the entertainment district of Haliburton. I'm hearing some laughter because some people do know Haliburton Village. Our choice is near the arena and the skateboard park. People also need immediate service. You know, I'm a little impulsive myself, but we all know about the teenage brain, and it's also very impulsive, and you know, you need service when you need service. So you need to be able to walk in somewhere, not wait for 3 months before you can receive help, but that you can get it instantaneously. So we're really lucky and consider ourselves fortunate in Haliburton to be one of 6 new sites for a total of 10 in Ontario to be part of this COYO network. And we're really trying to prove the model and make it work so that we will be able to continue to expand across other parts of Ontario. Now, they told me, and it was probably a mistake, that one of the speakers canceled, so there's a little extra time. So please feel free to get the hook and start dragging me off if I'm going on too long, Rob. A little about Haliburton County. We have a really dispersed population of about 17,000 people that are year-round residents. And probably in the summertime, we've got over 100,000 people in our county, between people at camps and lodges and cottages. We've got the second highest rate of child poverty in Ontario, and we're as big as Prince Edward Island without the potatoes. We have no public transportation, but we really have a reputation of people helping each other, not just resident to resident, but as service providers that can come together. We have an emerging Indigenous population, not to say that it hasn't been there all along, but more people are finally feeling safer to begin to self-identify. And we have really high rates of hunger and people struggling with issues like housing and heat. We made a deputation recently to the Standing Committee, excuse me, on Finance and Economic Affairs. And I shared a story where, I remember one of our families literally burning the furniture so that they would have enough heat to get through the winter. Things can be really tough. We're really lucky in Haliburton County. I said that we have a really good working relationship. One of the things that we have had and still have is a really good relationship with our school board. Long before it was trendy, we were working together, and our local high school has opened their doors, and we've been running a walk-in clinic there for probably 5 or 6 years. Despite that, youth in our community really experiencing challenging times, and so is the community. I got a call from the manager of mental health one Mother's Day to say that one of our youth had taken their life. And that, was a tragedy that hit people in all parts of our county, service providers, school, parents, and other youth. And then a 19-year-old took their life in the summer. And particularly for youth that knew both youths, they really felt that the world was spinning. Parents didn't know where to turn. There were a number of other adult suicides at the same time, and there was a young man in his 30s who also took his life, who had worked for our agency and had been a camp counselor through our programs. So some of the youth that were that age are also hit by that. So we had youth wondering if their parents were going to take their lives. We had youth wondering if their friends were going to take their lives. And we had a community in crisis. And at the same time in crises, people obviously struggle. And we were taking a lot of heat collectively, and we had regular phone calls between the school board and the police and the health services folks to really try and plan what our communication strategy is, because we're worried about contagion. We held public forums, and we brought in panels of experts. We talked with youth and parents and community members about what they would like to see come out of it, and it all fortunately coincided with the announcement that COYO funding was going to be available for 6 sites in Ontario. Frankly, we didn't think we had a chance, but one of the things that one of our speakers, Dr. Ian Mannion, talked about was what you really need to heal is to engage youth. Let them say what they need, let them help drive it, and co-create with them. There's, on our website, which is at the end, there's a youth video that the youth made about what it's like being a youth in Haliburton County, also to try and help the adults in our community understand what they need. So this is kind of the photo album time. Sorry, there's no popcorn. We brought youth together at one of our lodges, and youth really spoke about what they needed to feel safe and what they needed in our community. And we engaged parents and we engaged stakeholders. And this is the exciting thing, was buying a building. Going from having a press conference the day that we heard that we were allowed to announce that we were becoming a site, and walking over to this building, an old church that we had our eye on, and walking the youth through it and saying, what do you think? And them getting really excited about the potential. When we took possession of the building, the pastor passed the key from the building to the youth in our community. We brought in our local MPP, Laurie Scott, Minister of Labor, to speak as well. And really talked about the idea that it takes a county. You can see here the number of service providers and a couple of youth that are there that are all getting behind having a youth hub in Haliburton County. People have been really gracious and excited and have really been digging in and have been great collaborators. We've been out there doing promotion. And yes, I too have a great face for radio. Next steps. We're working on finishing renovations. And it's been a little daunting. We lost, due to totally unexpected health crisis, and lost the person in our community that was leading the renovations, and he was retired director of the health services facilities management when he died suddenly. And so it's taken us a while to get back on our feet, but we are now. We've got contractors. We're working on establishing a youth and a parent advisory. We've got job postings out, so if I can poach anybody, come and see me afterwards. Haliburton's a great place to live. We're figuring out the integration on the ground. We're working on fundraising, but most of all, we're listening and engaging youth, parents, service providers, and community to move forward and make change and provide a place for youth to come and feel welcome and heard in our community. So it looks like I left the S off question, so I might be out of time anyways. Anyways, that's how to reach me. Thank you very much.